Welcome everyone, Mrs. Rubini here. Today we'll continue with Algebra 2. We are looking at factorization. After this tutorial, you will be able to expand and simplify using the distributive law. We'll be factorizing as a product of two binomials, that is two brackets, two terms, perfect squares, and difference of two squares. Let's begin by using the distributive law to expand this. How do I expand this? The distributive law tells me that I can multiply the term outside by each term on the inside. So this is how I would work this out. And for those who can do it immediately, you can do it in parts. In your working column, you can say 3x multiply by 2x will give us what? You can multiply your numbers first and then your variables. 3 2s are 6, and x by x multiplied by x will give us x squared. So we're going to get x squared. Let's look at our next term. We have 3x by 3. We can write it for those who can't do it immediately. 3x multiplied by 3. Our numbers first. 3 3s are 9, and x by 1 is x. So we're getting plus 9x. So this is how we expand this type of bracket. Let's do another example. I have minus 2x multiplied by 3 plus 4x. How do I expand this? I use the term outside and I multiply it by each term on the inside. Okay, again, for those who can't work it out immediately, you can work it at the side. So we have minus 2x multiply by 3. The first thing we are going to work is our signs. As you can see, I'm working each thing. Okay, I'm going to work the signs, then I'm going to work the numbers, then I'm going to work the variables. Okay, so I have a negative by a positive is going to give me a negative. 2 by 3 will give me 6. X by 1 will give me x. So my first one is minus 6x. The second term that I have to work out is minus 2x plus 4x. Again, I'm going to start with my signs. Minus where plus is a minus. 2 4s are 8. This is supposed to be a multiplication sign. It looks like a plus, but it's a multiplication sign. 2 4s are 8, and x by x is x squared. I'm getting minus 8x squared. Minus 8x squared. Good? And this is how we expand this bracket. Now we're going to expand some more brackets. And after expanding brackets, what we are going to look at is factorizing. What I want you to see here, if I have this question here, 6x squared plus 9x. If I factorize this expression here, I would actually get back this answer up here. Okay? So we will look at factorizing later on, but let's continue expanding brackets. So we have this example here. Yes, it's much longer. I have 5x plus 3, open brackets, 4x plus 5, minus 2, open brackets, 1 minus 3x. Okay, how do I expand this? The same way. Okay, where I have brackets, I will expand the term outside by each term on the inside. Where I have brackets, I will expand the term outside by each term on the inside. So let's begin. I have 5x plus 3 4s are 12x. For those who can't see it, again, you can go to the working column and write down each term. 3 multiply by 4x. Multiply your numbers first. 3 4s are 12. X by 1 is x. Okay. Term outside by the term, the second term inside. 3 5s are 15. We have a positive sign there. 3 5s are 15 minus 2 by 1 will give us negative. 2 by 1 will give us negative 2. For those who can't see it, you can go to your working column. Minus 2 multiply by 1. Let's work our signs first. A minus by a plus will give us a minus. 2 by 1 will give us 2. That's why I got minus 2. Next one, for those who can't see it, minus 2 multiply by minus 3x. Let's work our signs first. A minus and a minus is a plus. 2 by 3 is 6. X by 1 is x. I'm getting positive 6x. So I'm going to have positive 6x. Now my next step, as we learned in Algebra 1, we can group all our similar terms, okay? So as I can see here, I have 5x plus 12x plus 6x plus 15 minus 2. Okay, and remember in algebra we can add and subtract like terms. Okay, so 5x plus 12x plus 6x will give me a total of 23x plus 15 minus 7 will give me 15 minus 2 will give me 13, and this is our answer. Let's expand another one. We have term on the outside by each term on the inside. Yes, term on the outside by each term on the inside. So let's go. 2 3s are 6x plus 2 5s are 10. A minus by a plus is a minus. 4 5s are 20x. Signs again, a minus by a minus is a plus. Numbers now, 4 by 6 is 24, and I have a minus 8 out here. What can I do next? Group my like terms together. So I have 6x minus 20x and my numbers, I have plus 10 plus 24 minus 8. And all I do here, I group my numbers, I group my like terms together. So I have 6x minus 20x. That's going to give me a total of minus 14x. And my numbers, I have 10 plus 24 minus 8 will give me a total of 10 plus 24 minus 8. Right, I'll get 26. 10 plus 24 minus 8 will give me a total of 26, and this will be my answer. Okay, let's continue. Right, so now we're going to look at what I was talking about, factorizing. Yes, and as we learned before, we learned that when there's a bracket, we multiply each term on the outside, the term on the outside by each term on the inside. Okay, so if I have to multiply this bracket to expand this bracket, what would I get? X by a would give me xa or ax plus x by b will give me xb or ba. This is the same answer I have here. Okay, so what we are going to look at now is factorizing. So I have this answer. Okay, so let's say I didn't have this bracket at all, and I have this expression here, xa plus xb, and the question asks me to factorize. There is no bracket to expand, right? The question asks me to factorize. How would I factorize this expression? When we are factorizing, we are taking out the things that are common and we are putting the other things in brackets. So let me demonstrate. I have xa plus xb. If I have to factorize this expression, I'm going to factorize out the two terms that are common. In this side, I could see that we have a x that's common and an x that's common. Yes, so I'm going to put what's common on the outside, and then in brackets I am going to put what remains. So what remains after I took out what's common? A plus b, and that is what I'm going to put in brackets, a plus b. So this is how I factorize an expression like this. And if we notice, it's the same thing that we have been doing. We are getting back the brackets. Now, if the question asks me, the question would not ask me to factorize this expression in green. It would ask me to expand. Yes, it would ask me to expand. So how do I expand and simplify this? Let's expand the bracket. We learned about that. We multiply the term on the outside by each term on the inside. So x by a will give me xa plus x by b will give me xb. This is how I expand. Yes? Good. Let's move on. Let's continue to factorize the following expressions. I have 6x squared plus 3x. How do I factorize this? I factorize the terms that are common. Yes, I have 6x squared plus 3x. Let's work the numbers first. I can factorize out this 3. Why can I take out this 3? Because 3 can go into 3 1 and 3 can go into 6 2 times. So I can take out the 3. So the number used to factorize comes on the outside. I use the 3. Now, are there any more common terms? Yes, there are. X is common on this side, and I have 2x on this side. So if I take 1 from here, I'm leaving 1. X squared is x multiplied by x. So I have 2x here, I'm taking out 1. What did I do? I factorize out the x comes outside. Now in brackets, there are no more common terms. I'm going to put the things that remain in brackets. So what remains on my left? 2x plus 1. This is how I factorize this expression. Now if a question gives you this term in green, they will not ask you to factorize this, they would ask you to expand. And once you expand this, this is what you're going to get. You're supposed to get back the same number that we have on top here. Alright, let's verify if our answer is correct. 3x by 2x will give us 6x squared plus 3 by 1. 3x by 1 will give us 3x. So this is us expanding. We're not focusing on expanding now, we are focusing on factorizing. But I'm just showing you how it works. Let's factorize another. I have 12x squared minus 8x. Let me factorize this. The question asks us to factorize. There's no bracket to expand. They're asking us to factorize. So I can factorize all the numbers. I can use 4 as the highest common factor that could go into 8 and 12. 4 can go into 8 2 times, and 4 can go into 12 3 times. Yes? 4 3s are 12. Good. So let's, what did I factorize? So the 4, so the 4 comes outside. Next, what can I factorize? On my numbers, I have x and I have x squared. So I could take 1x from here. 1x remains. So my x comes outside. Okay? Open brackets. I'm going to put what remains on the inside. 3x minus 2. And that's how we factorize that expression. Let's factorize yet another one. What's the highest? Let's deal with the numbers first. What's the highest common factor here that can go into 6 and 8? 2. 2 can go into 6 3 times, and 2 can go into 8 4 times. So 2 comes outside. Yes? Are there any other terms that we can factorize? Yes, the x. 1x on this side could factorize. X remains here. So the x comes outside. Now in brackets, I'm going to put what remains. Okay? What remains? Minus 4 minus 3x. So this is how we factorize. Now we're going to look at binomial expressions. What does binomial mean? A binomial expression consists of 2 terms. So we're going to expand and simplify the following expressions. So we have 2 terms. We call it binomial expressions, and we are going to expand it. Remember, so we have brackets, so they're not going to ask you to factorize this. They are going to ask you to expand the bracket. So how do we expand brackets that are multiplied to each other like this? We're going to do this. First term multiply by x, first term multiplied. So you're seeing this? Yeah, so the first term by each term in the next bracket, and the second term by each term in the next bracket. So let's begin. So we have x by x. For those who cannot work it out immediately, use your working columns. Yeah, so x by x is the first thing we are multiplying. X multiply by x, and x by x will give us x squared. So x squared comes here. Let's do the next one. X by 4. X multiply by 4 will give us x4 is the same as 4x. So we have positive 4x. Let's continue. What do we have now? We have 3 by x. You can write it down. 3 by x will give us a total of, 3 by x will give us a total of 3x. So we have positive 3x. And then we have 3 by 4, you can write it or not, will give us 12. So take your time and expand your brackets. And this is what we get. And as we know in algebra, we can group all like terms. We have one term in x squared, it will stay by itself. How many x's do we have? 4x plus 3x will give us a total of 7x, plus our only constant term here is 12. And this is the answer we got. Yes? So after we expand the binomial expression that they gave us here, we got what? A quadratic. Yes? And what would they ask us to do with this quadratic? They would ask us to factorize it. They will not ask you to expand it, they will ask you to factorize it. We will get to that shortly, okay? Right now we're just practicing to expand the binomial expressions. So we have another example. We have x minus 1 and x plus 6. Good. How are we going to expand these brackets? The first term in this bracket by each term in the next bracket. The second term in this bracket by each term, and draw your arrows, it will help you. And follow them. Okay, so x by x, for those who can do it, use the working column. I'm not going to use it. X by x is going to give us x squared, and x by 6 is going to give me 6x. My next. Minus 1 by x is going to give me minus x. I can say minus 1x, but the 1 is understood, so I'm just writing minus x. Okay, let me write it here for those who can't see it. Minus 1 multiply by x is going to give me, let's work the signs first. Minus by plus is a minus. 1 by 1 is 1, and x by 1 is x. I'm getting minus 1x. What I'm saying is the 1 is understood, so I'm just going to write minus x. Okay, if I had minus 2 multiply by x, what would I get? I would get minus 2x. I'll have to write the 2. Yes, the 1 is understood. If I have minus 3 multiply by x, what would I get? Minus 3x. Okay, it's only for the 1. We don't write the 1 because the 1 is understood. So I have minus x. Next one, minus 1 by 6 is going to give us minus 6. Again, I can group my terms, my like terms together. When you have one term in x squared, I'm going to write it. 6x minus 1x will give me a total of 5x. And I just have minus 6. And this is my answer. Okay, so let's continue simplifying. And as we can see here, we have to simplify the following expression, but before we do that, we must expand the brackets. Yes, you're seeing brackets, so we must expand the brackets. So let's begin with that. And we learned how to expand brackets like this. Yes, first term by the first term here, first term by the second term here, first term, the second term by the first term here, second term, second term. Draw your arrows, it will help you. So I'm going to say 2x by 3x is going to give me a total of 6x squared. 2x by 4 is going to give me a total of 4 2s are 8x. Then I'm going to multiply minus 5 by 3x is going to give me minus 15x. A minus by a plus is a minus. 5 4s are 20. For those who can't see it immediately, work it in your working column the way that I showed you. Okay? So again, we have this in brackets. We are going to simplify this before we multiply our 8 by it. Okay? So we have our term in x squared, 6x squared. Alright? Now we have to work out our terms in x. So the question is, we have 8x minus 15x will give us a total of minus 7x, and then we have minus 20, close brackets. Now we are going to multiply the 8 to each term in the bracket. Yes, that's what we learned before. I have a number outside, so how do I work it out? I'm going to multiply the 8 by each term in the bracket. Okay, so it's going to be 8 by 6, which will give us a total of 48x squared. Then we're going to have a plus by a minus is a minus. 8 by 7, which is going to give us a total of 56x. A plus by a minus is a minus. We have 8 by 20, and that's going to give us a total of 160. And this is how we simplify this. Okay? Let's look at another example. We have 4x minus, and we have two brackets here. Again, before we simplify the way we simplified here, we need to expand the brackets. Yes, we have binomial expressions here, and we learned how to do that. It's going to be 3x by 4x and 3x by minus 1, 2 by 4x and 2 by minus 1. So let's begin. 3x by 4x will give us a total of 3 4s are 12, and x by x is x squared. Again, for those who can't see it, go to your working column and work it in part. Write 3x multiply by 4x. Okay, let's work on numbers. 3 4s are 12. X by x is x squared. That's how I got that. Now 3x by minus 1, for those who can do it one time, 3x multiply by minus 1. Let's work on numbers or signs. We have a minus sign, so let's work on signs first. Plus by minus is a minus. 3 by 1 is 3. X by 1 is x. So we're going to get minus 3x here. Then we have 2 4s are 8x, so plus 8x. Then we have 2 by minus 1 is going to give us minus 2. So what we're going to do here, we are going to simplify the expressions inside, and then minus 4x by everything inside of the bracket. I'm just removing this to get some more space. So we're going to simplify. So now we have 12x, or term in x squared, 1 term in x squared, 12x squared, and minus 3x plus 8x will give us a total of plus 5x minus 2. Okay, so now we have 4x minus 12x squared. So let's go ahead and expand this bracket. I have 4x minus, by a plus is a minus, I'm going to get minus 12x squared, a minus, and you see that I have the minuses outside the brackets. As you can see, I'm multiplying, Okay, minus by a plus is a minus 5x. It's changing the signs on the inside. A minus by a minus is a plus, so I'm getting plus 2. So now I have 4x minus 12x squared. I'm going to group my terms together. I have one term in x squared. I'm going to write it here. My terms in x, I have a plus 4x minus 5x plus 2. I can further simplify this. One term in x squared. Yes. 4x minus 5x. 4 minus 5 is how much? Minus 1. Yes, I'm getting minus 1x. The 1 is understood, so I'm just going to write minus x plus 2. Again, I said it. If you don't understand it, you can work it at the side. I said 4x minus 5x. Good, I have 4 minus 5. I'm getting minus 1 x. Okay, the 1 is understood, so it's minus x. That's how I got that. Okay, so we just simplified the following expressions. Now we are going to expand again. Yes, that's what we do when we have brackets, we expand. So let's do these few examples quickly. This by this, this by this, this by this, this by this. X by x will give us x squared. X by minus 5y will give us minus 5yx. Y by x will give us yx. And y by minus 5y will give us minus 5y squared. For those who can't do it as quickly as me, use your working columns and work out each term. Grouping our terms together, one term in x squared minus 5y plus yx will give me a total of how much? I have minus 5 plus 1. What's that going to give me? Minus 4. So I'm going to have minus 4yx, and this is my only term in yx squared, so I'm just going to write it back. And this is the best we can do. We expanded this and then we simplified it. Okay, let's do the next one. First term by the first term, first term by the second term. Yes, second by the first, second by the second. So 5x by 3x is going to give me a total of 15x squared. 5x by 4y is going to give me a total of 5 4s are 20. X by y is xy, or I can write yx at the end. Minus 2y by 3x is going to give me, let's look at my signs first. A minus by a plus is giving me a minus. 2 3s are 6. Y by x will give me yx. Last term, 2y by 4y. Let's look at the signs. A minus by a plus is a minus. 2 4s are 8. And y by y will give me y squared. Let's group our similar terms together. I only have one term in x squared. I have 20yx minus 6yx will give me a total of 14yx. And then we have the only term in y squared, minus 8y squared. And this is how we simplify this. Now we are going to be factorizing as a product of two binomials. Okay, so we're going to be factorizing as a product of two binomials. So after we factorize this, we're going to get what? What do I mean by binomial expressions? You're going to get two binomial expressions, two brackets. Okay, so now we can factorize this by grouping. I have four terms, and I taught you also factorize by grouping when we were doing, that was in algebra 1. Yes, that was in algebra 1. So we can factorize by grouping. We have four terms, so we can group them into pairs. Okay, so let's begin. What's common here? X is common, so I'm going to take x out, and in brackets I'm going to put what remains. This is x squared, so x remains here. So what remains is x plus 3, close bracket, plus, let's expand the other side. What is the highest common factor here? 2. So 2 can go into 2, 1, and 2 can go into 6, 3. So the 2 comes outside. There is no other common terms. There's no x on this side, so I'm going to put in brackets what remains. X plus 3. Okay, and our final step to this answer is to putting the terms on the outside in brackets, x plus 2, and one of the terms, as you could see, it's common, yes, on the inside. This is how we factorize this. Okay, and as you can see here, we got what? 2 binomial expressions. Let's do another example. So we can group into pairs. Factorize this pair, then this pair. Good, we have 4 terms, and when you have 4 terms, you can factorize by grouping. Okay, what is common here? We have an x on this side. We can take 1x from this. We remain with 1x. So we factorize the x comes outside. Open brackets. Let's put what remains. X minus 1. And 1 remains here. Not 0, 1. Minus, what's common on this side? 5. 5 into 5, 1. 5 into 5, 1. 5 comes outside. And then brackets, you're going to put what remains. What remains on this side? X. 1x, but again, we don't write the 1 in front of the x. Is understood. Plus 1. As you can see here, same terms on the inside of the brackets. So our final step is to group the term on the outside. X minus 5 and 1 term from in brackets, x plus 1. Okay, again, we have 2 expressions. This is what they asked for. 2 binomial expressions. Let's continue factorizing. We have 4 terms. So we're going to group them in pairs. Let's factorize this. What's common here? The 3. 3 into 3, 1. 3 into 3, 1. So the 3 comes outside. There is no other common term, so I'm going to put what remains in this pair in brackets. 1 minus x. Close brackets. Let's go to the other side. Plus, what could we factorize out here? The x. X into x1. X remain with the x here. So the x comes outside. I'm going to put in brackets what remains. Okay, 1 minus x. The final step of this sum is to put the terms on the outside in brackets. So we have 3 plus x in brackets, and one of the terms, yes, and 1 minus x. As you can see, it's the same. Okay, let's look at the next one. We have 4 terms, so we can factorize it by grouping. What's the highest common factor here? 2. 2 can go into 2, 1, and 2 can go into 6 3 times. So what did I use to factorize the 2? So the 2 comes outside. Do I have any more common terms? No. So I'm going to open my brackets and put what remains. 3 plus x. Close brackets. Minus sign here. I'm going to factorize. What do I have in common here? X. I'm going to take 1x from here and 1x from here. So the x comes outside. I'm going to put in brackets what remains. 3 minus x. Okay, final step, put the terms on the outside in brackets. So 2 minus x goes in 1, and the 3 plus x goes in 1. So I'm going to give you quadratics looking like this, yeah, where they separated the middle terms like what we have here. This is how you factorize it, okay, by grouping. You factorize it by grouping, because as we can see, it is a quadratic equation. Yes, the highest power is 2. We have x squared. So one may argue, why not group it and then factorize it? So why not 3 and group my x? So I have minus 3 plus 1 will give me minus 2x and minus x squared. Okay, so one may argue, why not group it and then factorize it? Okay, it's easier to factorize by grouping because they already factorized it for us. Yes, they already simplified it for us, and it's already in 4 terms. And as we learned, if there are 4 terms, we can pair them and factorize by grouping. So if you see a quadratic looking like this already in 4 terms, then you can factorize it by grouping. Let's continue. We have another expression here. We have 12x squared plus 15x plus 4x plus 5. What are we going to do? What are we seeing here? What we are asked to do? We were asked to factorize. What were we asked to do? Factorize. So you're going to be looking to see what is common and what you could factorize. And again, you're seeing 4 terms, so you know you can pair them. You can put them into pairs and factorize it. So what's the highest common factor here? We can use 3, because 3 can go into 12 and 3 can go into 15. 3 into, get my marker. So we can use it, as I was saying, we can use 3. Now the next thing, when we're factorizing by grouping, let's look how this looks. If you know you cannot factorize, or you would not understand how to factorize this pair and this pair, what can you do? You can arrange it. Yes, you can rearrange it. So one may consider rearranging and putting 2 pairs that they believe are more likely to work out. For example, the 12x and the 4x, you prefer to group this pair together, plus, and you prefer to group the 15x plus the 5x together. It is an option when you are grouping. Yes, when you are factorizing by grouping, it is an option. Okay, so then we can factorize. Now in this particular question, even if we do not rearrange it, we will get the same answer. Okay, so let's go. I can use 4 into 4, 1, and 4 can go into 12, 3. So what is the number I used to factorize? 4. So 4 comes outside. X on one side, I could take x from here and remain with 1x. It comes outside. There is no other common terms in this pair, so I'm going to put what remains in brackets. What remains on this side? 3x plus 1 on this side. It's not going to be 0, it's going to be 1. Plus 5 into 5, 1, and 5 can go into 15 3 times. Okay, so what number did I use to factorize? 5. So the 5 comes outside. Are there any more common terms? X on this side, x on this side? Nope. So I'm going to put what remains in brackets. 3x plus 1. Again, what's the final step? Put the outside terms in brackets on 4x plus 5 in one brackets. Look at my x. And then what goes in the other brackets? 3x plus 1. And there we have it. Let's do another example. Again, we are asked to factorize. Take out what is common. If the 4 terms that you have there are not arranged in an order that you can work it out, you can always rearrange it. Okay, you are asked to factorize. So let's factorize. Let's leave it like this. Factorize the first pair and then the second pair. Alright, so what's the highest common factor here that can go into 20 and 35? 5, right? Because 5 can go into 35, 7, and 5 can go into 24. So what number do we use to factorize? 5. So the 5 comes outside. Are there any more common terms that we can factorize? Yes, x. I have 1x on this side and I have 2x on this side. So I can take 1x from here and write it here. And the x comes outside. Then in brackets, I'm going to put what remains. 4x on this side minus 7 on the other side minus, what can we factorize on this side? 2. Yes, we can say 2 into 8, 4, and 2 into 14, 7. So we're going to put the 2 outside. Are there any more common terms? No. So I'm going to put what remains in brackets. 4x plus 7. Final step is to put the terms on the outside in brackets. 5x minus 2 in brackets and 4x plus 7 in one bracket. And there we have it. Okay, so if they give you the quadratics like